In a 4-point hesitation, dirty roll, the L-39 and Dan McCue. Dirty roll on takeoff. Dan McCue. This is York, Maine. Recently took an early retirement from a major U.S. airline, flying the 767 internationally. Dan assures me that none of the maneuvers that you're going to watch him fly in just a few moments were ever practiced by him in the 767. Story about that I really can't even tell you. It's something about before you're old enough to fly airplanes and have a license to fly, kind of borrow somebody's airplane. Maybe we will tell you about it. But right now, look to the right and put your cameras on Dan McCue. He comes by in a beautiful photo pass in the L-39. The L-39 has a maximum cruising speed of about 80% of the speed of sound, or what we could call Mach 0.8. Its maximum speed at low altitude, let's say below 4,000 feet, of 565 miles an hour. Over 500 knots. The aircraft built in the Czech Republic, formerly flown by many of the countries as a training aircraft and a light attack aircraft, countries of the former Soviet bloc or Eastern Bloc. Here comes Dan coming by once again. He's got lots of speed and energy. Let's watch what he does with that. He's going to pull back on the stick. We see his weight, the weight of the aircraft being supported by those wings by about a factor of 3 to 4. It's got a 4G pull at the bottom, 4 positive Gs forcing him into the seat as he performs an inside loop. But watch what happens on top. With enough power and speed and energy, he rolls the airplane on top. Starts it on down in a 45-degree dive. A maneuver that we call a Cuban 8. He did one half of it out there to the right. Now he's flying the second half in reverse. He's climbing on the 45-degree line instead of descending on it. And he'll roll the airplane upside down and come on back down the backside, completing 5/8 of a loop once again to make a big figure 8 lying on its side. A maneuver we call the Cuban 8. Later on, you'll hear my friend Doug McDaniel tell you why that maneuver is called a Cuban 8. We'll save that for Doug. Here comes Dan back and forth once again, keeping the nose on a point out on the horizon and rolling and rolling and rolling that aircraft right around the point. That other aircraft right behind him is a B-1RD, and we kind of hope that that B-1RD gets out of the demonstration zone in the next few moments. Once that big black L-39 comes flying by, I think that B-1RD will get the message. Hey, Dan is maneuvering now to come back in from the right. As you mentioned, long-time airline pilot. He's towed batters, he's flown aerobatics, he's flown airshows, he's flown over 48 different kinds of aircraft. Develop the skills he brings to you in the L-39. Very low and very fast. He pulls the nose up above the horizon. Begins in gentle, slow roll. Slight heading change in the middle of it as he performs the barrel roll. You know, as we're watching Dan McCue fly his beautiful aerobatic maneuvers, I would like to remind everybody that there is absolutely no smoking anywhere on the ramp area. Please, no smoking anywhere on the ramp area. That's your lyric. Thank you very much, Dan. That's great advice. Now watch carefully as Dan McCue comes back from the left. This time he's going to show you another rolling maneuver. This one is another 4-point, just like he did on takeoff. There's point number 1, point number 2, point number 3, where he pauses and right back to upright plane. A 4-point roll. The L-39 in cross-country flight normally cruises at about 350 miles an hour. The airplane weighing itself just over 7,000 pounds. And its maximum weight can be a little over 10,000 pounds. And with this kind of performance, you would expect its engine to be much more powerful than the just slightly less than 4,000 pounds of thrust. This is turbofan engine. Russian-built engine provides, and here comes Dan from the switch again. Very low and very fast. Starts the nose on up through the horizon and on up through the vertical as he starts an inside loop. Up and up he goes, topping over 4,000 feet at the top of this loop. Power back now as he sets his line and comes on down the backside. Quarter roll as he flies away from us. Beautiful view of the platform of this beautiful aircraft. The Czechs first flew this airplane back in 1968. Slightly different airplane from this. It was the L-29 Delta at that time. Standard jet trainer for what was then known as Czechoslovakia, the Soviet Union, and all the other Eastern Bloc nations, including the East German Air Forces. The Albatross quickly became, which the improved version became the L-39, and suited for a light attack purpose. There's places on the wings to hang rockets, bombs, and other things. And even a centerline gun can be attached to the L-39 in its military mode. The L-39 first flown at the Paris Airshow back in 1977. Here comes Dan back in front of us once again. And watch what he does this time. He's going to pull the nose on up and he's going to climb into the vertical. Into a maneuver that you don't often see done in a jet airplane. And the reason is because the engine tends to stop as he flies backwards in the tail slide. Dan McCue and the L-39. Let's watch. Sliding it backwards, the nose pitches over. I want to hear the engine, Dan. Trust me, so does Dan. I want to hear the engine. There it is. That's a good sound. We like to hear the sound of that turbofan engine. You may have seen the beautiful L-39 in the movies. 2 of them were in the James Bond movie, Tomorrow Never Dies. James Bond stealing one of these L-39s and being chased by a second one. Has 2 seats on board, designed for an instructor pilot and a student pilot. Dan's flying it from the front seat by himself. Dan himself an excellent L-39 instructor, and I can tell you that by first-hand experience because I've flown, not this airplane, but another L-39 that Dan and I took out to Oshkosh a couple of years ago. Now you notice in that last roll, he also extended the landing gear because he put it out when the airplane was upside down. Dan's going to be setting up for his landing now in the L-39. A tail slide by Dan McCue in the L-39. You don't see many jet airplanes performing that maneuver, but the engine kept running the whole time, even though it was very, very silent. This particular aircraft that Dan owns was manufactured in 1984, and it flew with the Soviet Air Forces in the Republic of Kyrgyz, which is now known as Kyrgyzstan, southern border of Russia, Central Asia. One of those stand countries that we have read about over the last year or two.
like Afghanistan and Uzbekistan, and other names that will probably show up in spelling bees over the years. This one from Kyrgyzstan. Dan McCue about to touch down now. Dan visiting us from York, Maine, and we are glad that he is here.
One of those here too, Larry, we call it a burger stand.
Burger stand, a very popular place, and you know, I'm beginning to get, as the wind has shifted, Dan, and it's moving from the burger stand over toward our way, it's getting kind of hungry up here, you know what I'm saying? Those are wonderful foods that they have available over there in these tents that are provided by the Airshow Network, but they are staffed by your friends and neighbors, Dan McClaren.
That is correct, Larry. We also have hot dog stand and pizza stand, and we even have a ice cold beer stand, which might go well with the burger or a hot dog.
There's Dan McCue touching down. Now, you may have noticed after touchdown that he was holding the nose high off the runway. The aerodynamic drag that produces was helping him to slow it down. He's now retracted the wing flaps. Again, you may have seen those extended down the trailing edge of the wing, giving him more of a slow speed. And he's going to be touching down in front of you. The design of this aircraft also had combat in mind. Notice the intakes are high up and protected from birds and so forth, and then picked up from the ground, something that they make. Also, the pilots that are on board. So this is just take off from unimproved field. This has designed a lot of flexibility in mind.